my group and I are going to do a short video clip about how power distribution in a house. Okay, before this, I would like to introduce my group member, which is Jiang and Jixiang. Hi.
Good morning.
Suding and Yongsun. No one ever thinks about electricity when they switch on the light or plug in the vacuum. But the question is, how does it get here in the first place? Do you guys know where this source came from? Don't know. Alright, let's discover it. Let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
Bye bye.
Let's go. Yeah.
죽어가는 듯 보이지만 죽지 않아 남들의 시선을 피해 결코 숨지 않아 보란 듯이 끝까지 추락하지만 I'm alive 넌 더 이상 이렇게 앞서가가는 뒤로 하고 점봐 깊이 떨어지고 있는 내 모습이 아름다워 지금 내 자신을 하늘에 던져 난 자기로워 이 순간만큼은 내 살아있어 I'm still alive I'm still alive I'm still alive I'm still alive You're insecure, don't know what for. You're turning heads when you walk through the door. Don't need makeup to cover up. Being the way that you are is enough. Everyone else in the room can see it. Everyone else but you. Baby, you light up my world like nobody.
Alright, right now we are in front of TNB, Tenaga Nasional Berhad, one of the largest electric utilities in Malaysia and also the largest power company in Southeast Asia.
Basically, TMB means activity are the generations, transmission, and the distributions of electricity.
Other activities include repairing, testing, and maintaining power plant. It also includes assembling and manufacturing high voltage switchgear and trading.
DMB distribution division also conduct the distribution network operation and electricity retail operation. Besides, generation division owns and operates thermal access and hydroelectric generation.
A transmission division of the DMB Group have a complete power supply system, including the national grid.
First of all, power transits from power plant to our home through an amazing system called power distribution grid.
The electricity is generated in power plant and transmitted to the power grid. The grid is quite public and it can be seen mostly in all rural areas.
Here we are at the industrial area.
As the power gets transmitted across the landscape, it gets distributed to the area where it will be used. In industrial area, the voltage will be stepped down to anywhere between 5,000 volts and possibly up to 34,500 volts.
Most of the industry has its own power station. This is to ensure sufficient power is supplied to the industry.
We are now in front of the largest power substation at Taman Molawati. Okay, basically, electricity can be produced in a variety of ways using water, coal, natural gas, diesel fuel, or even nuclear reactor. Typically, once the electricity is produced, a transformer is used to step up the voltage, in some cases exceeding 200,000 volts. By using such high voltage, the wire or conductor can be relatively small.
Think of the water hose on a fire truck. Voltage in an electric circuit is like the pressure in those hoses. On the other hand, current in electric circuit is the flow of electrons. So it can be represented by the flow of water in those hoses. But sadly, we cannot use such a high voltage in our homes.
Can you blow my whistle, baby, let me know. Girl, I'm gonna show you how.
We are in residential area, this residential power substation. Substation is frequently found in residential areas supplying us the electricity. The voltage is usually stepped down to 13,000 volts or less to this power substation.
Once in the resident area, the voltage is again stepped down so that we can use the electricity. Typically, the voltage is stepped down about 240 volts.
The 240 watt service will come into the electric meter. Usually it's located beside your house. Out of the meter, you usually find a cable that ends up with your breaker panel.
This is a breaker panel. Breaker panel then distributes this power throughout your house by the way of the individual breaker in the panel. These breakers map a volt onto either copper or aluminum bus bar.
The breaker can be either single or double pole, meaning that they are either meant for 120 volts loads as for single pole or 240 volts loads for double pole. Appliances like clothes dryer, stoves, and possibly HVAC equipment usually take double pole breakers.
No matter if the breaker is single or double pole, they have a rating located on the handle corresponding the amount of current they will safely pass before tripping. So, if you see a 20 on your breaker handle, you know that the breaker will handle no more than 20 amps on a continuous basis before it trips.
There are two other types of breaker I would like to mention as you may now see in the breaker panel. One is called the GFCI breaker. This breaker is a ground fault circuit interrupter and usually protect our outdoor equipment, bathroom, kitchens, and unfinished basements.
The purpose of this breaker is to trip in case it sends current going to ground. If current is going to ground, it usually means something or someone in the path of the electricity, and bad things can happen when that occurs.
There is no doubt safe toilet line. They are also found in receptacle from which tend to be cheaper. Remember though, you should check or test this money. There have been known to fail.
The other type of breaker that is becoming more common is the AFCI breaker or up-off circuit interrupter. By code, these are to be found in all new constructions. Just about everywhere you don't put the GFCI. The reason behind this breaker is to help prevent electrical fires. These should be tested monthly and they are also fairly pricey. The reason why we need an AC current for powering our home appliance such as electric kettle, electric stove, and washing machine is because AC is easier and more efficient to transmit over a long distance. The obvious strategy is to make the voltage as high as possible and to keep the current as low as possible.
But this is very difficult to do with DC. With AC, a simple transformer will easily step up the voltage on the transmission end and step it back down to safer level at the consumption end.
Finally, there are some safety tips. First, always shut the current breaker off before trying to perform any electrical works. Second, if a breaker trips, it trips for a reason. Don't try to keep reset it. It could cause damage to your house, the breaker panel, and most importantly, yourself.
Third, never cut the green or background wire. It's there for an important reason. Fourth, electricity can kill as little as 30 milliamperes can kill be vibrating to your heart. Respect it at all times. Better yet, hire an electrician if you don't have the utmost confidence in your abilities.
All of your receptacles, switches, lights, appliances, and etc. are fed from that breaker panel that we showed just now. The panel should be marked so that you know what breaker fits what circuit. If this is not done, take some time to do it because it will be a big help in the long run.
People take electricity for granted now, when just a few short decades ago, it didn't even exist. Innovation in design, materials and equipment have been nothing but good for everyone. Just remember that a lot happens when you turn on that button. We have come to the end of our journey about how power is distributed in our house. Thank you for accompanying us throughout our journey. And with this, we would like to end our video presentation. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
We are not your ordinary family, but we can all agree that we are close as close can be. So it don't matter what it looks like, we look perfect to me. We got every kind of love, I feel so lucky indeed. They can keep on talking, it don't matter to me, 'cause we are family. Family.